Welcome back to Breakdowns. Tuesday, March 26th. Basketball, SEC, Big Ten, the big dance. JJ, week one is in the books. Let's talk about week one and then let's preview a little Sweet 16. Can we
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah, let's do it. We have a couple of SEC and Big Ten teams to talk about, so let's.
Let's do it. Okay. Uh, let's go back a little bit, JJ. The week. The SEC, Big Ten, both got two teams remaining. Uh, who won? Who won the weekend? The SEC or the Big Ten?
No, the ACC. I would have to say won
Okay.
the big weekend, but between the two, the SEC did get more teams in.
They had six.
Yeah,
I mean, they had eight.
they did have 8.
Now they got two.
They only have 2. I would say that the Big Ten won because their higher seeds did win. The Big Ten had a lot of 8, 9, 10 seeds, stuff like that.
Okay.
A lot of teams that weren't favored to do more than what they did. So the number 1 seed Purdue advanced, and the number 3 seed Illinois advanced, and that's what I expected from the Big Ten. The SEC had some big upsets. They had a 3 seed bow out Kentucky really early to Oakland. Auburn was a 4 seed. I think that they probably should have been a 3 seed, and they lost to Yale pretty.
Yale.
Yeah, on a nail biter, on a buzzer beater.
Okay. I tend to agree with you. The Big Ten won that. I want to talk about Michigan State a little bit, man.
Okay.
A team that's dear and near to my heart. Looked very, very impressive beating Mississippi State. I thought it was the best game they played the whole season. They followed up, started the game against North Carolina, looking really, really well.
Yeah.
Kind of like no change from the Mississippi State game.
Yeah.
What happened?
What happened is, Hubert Davis took ownership of his team. I thought he made a great adjustment. He put Seth Trimble on Tyson Walker, and when he did that, Tyson Walker really wasn't as much of a factor after that.
Yeah, that 23-3 run just was doomed for Michigan State. And Michigan State has had some games this year where they disappear, and they did it again this year. Who underachieved the most, JJ, of all the SEC teams and the Big Ten teams?
I mean, it would have to be Kentucky.
Okay.
Kentucky has the same amount of wins in the tournament as Louisville in the past 4 seasons, and Louisville's going to be on their 3rd coach in that time period.
Louisville hadn't been in the tournament in a while.
Yeah.
JJ, a Michigan school took it to Kentucky, Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
Got hot with the trays. Made Kentucky look pretty bad. In my mind, made Calipari look pretty bad. How good of a coach is Mr. John Calipari?
I think as of right now, he's not as good of a coach as he used to be. One of his best friends is a media member, Seth Greenberg, former Virginia Tech head coach, and he came out publicly and said that he needs to start working harder. He needs to get back to the mindset of the defensive genius that Cal used to think of himself as, when he would put hours and commit time and time.
Well, I'm sorry.
Well, just the older you get, that happens to a lot of coaches.
Interestingly enough, Calipari said yesterday that he does want to be back. So he got a contract for how long? How long is his contract?
I think it's like a lifetime contract. Honestly, I don't know if
It's a lifetime contract.
Yeah.
Cal, you did good, man. Show me how to get one of those. But he did say yesterday that he wanted to come back, and so with a lifetime contract, I expect him to be back. But you mentioned he was going to work harder. He also said that they were going to reduce the number of summer trips. That means no more Rome, Italy, France trips in the summer and early fall for late summer for Kentucky. Will that make a difference?
I mean, I don't think it's going to make a difference when the real issue is his in-game adjustments and his scouting. Like that's going to have to be the primary thing. He's going to have to make some changes to his coaching staff and make some changes to his commitment to work. That's going to be the primary thing. But if he thinks like Italy, Rome would distract him, then good for him.
Okay, I want to get off Calipari, but I do want to mention his first 10 years at Kentucky. He went to 7 Elite Eight, went to 4 Final Fours, won 1 national championship. His last 4 years, he's won 1 SEC tournament game. The tournament. In those 4 years, he's won 1. And also during those from years 11 to 14, he's won 1 NCAA tournament. This year, well, a few years ago, he had the National Player of the Year. He lost to St. Peter's. This year, he had the National Freshman of the Year, lost to Oakland. He has 6 freshmen already signed and committed for next year. It's going to be interesting to see what the fans and everything shake out with Calipari. Sometime I think it's just time to move on.
Yeah, I mean that very well might be true, but I think he wants to go out on his own terms. I don't think he wants to go out like the way he just did.
One last, JJ, are there any games that you want to review before we move on to the preview? Other things. Purdue did their work pretty handily. I did want to talk really quickly, get your comments on the Auburn loss to Yale. What's your take on that?
My take on it is that, Auburn was coming off an emotional high after winning the SEC championship. You could see that in their coach Bruce Pearl's post-game interview. And I think their emotion was not under control, as evidenced by their freshman guard elbowing
3 minutes into the game and getting ejected.
Yeah, getting ejected for a flagrant 2 elbow to a Yale player.
Yeah.
I think had he been able to play the entirety of the game, Auburn probably would have pulled that out. And I just think, I'm not gonna cry any crocodile tears though. I mean, I'm not upset about the result. Upsets are what makes the tournament so great, and we needed a couple of those.
I agree. JJ, let's talk about the Sweet 16. Can we do that?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the entire teams really quickly, and then we'll focus on the SEC and the Big Ten. It's UConn, San Diego State. Any doubt as to who you got in that game?
Yeah, rematch of the championship game from last year.
Very true.
I think UConn probably should be the favorite for a reason, but
they are 11-point favorite right now.
Yeah, it should still be a pretty decent matchup.
Okay. Illinois, Iowa State. These are all Thursday games. Illinois, Iowa State. That should be a good game. We have a 2-seed Iowa State and a 3-seed Illinois. Iowa State is a 1-point favorite. And this is going to be in Boston.
Yeah, I would expect Illinois to win that game.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Okay. North Carolina and Alabama out in L.A. North Carolina is a 4-point favorite against Alabama.
Yeah. Alabama doesn't have the size to really give North Carolina a problem, I don't think. So I think both on the perimeter and on the interior, I don't think that Alabama can really frustrate them with the size. So I think Caleb Love should be able to pull that one out.
Okay, I tell you, man, that Alabama Grand Canyon game was an instant classic.
Yeah, it was a really good game.
Okay, JJ, Clemson and Arizona. Arizona is a 7.5-point favorite. Again, this is in LA as well.
Yeah, I mean, PJ Hawkins stayed out of foul trouble. I like Clemson to at least cover. Arizona will have the fan advantage, but Clemson, I would imagine any basketball fans Clemson has would make that trip because Sweet 16s don't come regularly to Clemson, South Carolina.
Let's go to the east side of the bracket. Houston and Duke. Houston 1 seed, Duke a 4 seed. Houston's a 4-point favorite. And this is going to be in Big D, Dallas town. Yeah,
Houston, LJ Cryer, Jamal Shedd, those are a couple of undersized guards. They have the athleticism to compete. They won the Big 12 regular season, but, Duke is going to have the horses to run with them. They're going to have Proctor, who's a 6'6" guard. They're going to have wing players and Kyle Filipowski, down low. They're really going to match up well with Houston, but I think obviously the coaching advantage should be in favor of Kelvin Sampson over John Shire in the second year.
Okay. So you would give the 4 points and take Houston?
I'd stay away, honestly. I think Houston wins, but I could absolutely see Houston is notorious for winning close games a lot of times, so I could see that being a closer game.
The other Dallas game, JJ, NC State, surprising NC State, a number 11 seed, going up against the number 2 seed Marquette. Marquette is a 6.5 point favorite. You agree with that?
Oh yeah, I mean, I would absolutely pounce on Marquette to cover that spread.
I'm going to say this. I've been watching NC State. They have become my new favorite team. I like their last 2 wins. Okay.
They're the biggest underdog left, right?
Yeah, they are.
They're probably a lot of people's favorite team right now.
Okay. Let's go to the Midwest, JJ. Detroit, Purdue, and Gonzaga. 2 big names. Mm-hmm. Purdue is a 5.5 point favorite. This is in Detroit. Purdue is not that far from Detroit. It's not that long of a drive. Would you give or would you take those 5.5?
Purdue is always, you get the wrong officiating crew, someone that's gonna call some fouls on Zach Edey, and they always could lose any game like that. But independent of that, I expect Purdue to cover that by pretty easily.
And we'll come back and talk more. We're going to come back and talk more about the last game we're going to mention right now. Tennessee and Creighton. A 3 seed against a 2 seed against a 3 seed. Tennessee's a 2 seed. Creighton's a 3 seed. Big East versus SEC. Tennessee's a 3 point favorite. Sounds about reasonable to you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Creighton or Tennessee is really notorious for, getting past the Sweet 16. I know they both have done it on occasion. I don't think either team has made it to a Final Four, but I do think Tennessee has a slightly more talent, a little bit more experience. I would take them.
Okay, let's get a little bit more deeper in the SEC and Big Ten. Of the 4 teams remaining, 2 from the SEC and 2 from the Big Ten, which team, and just rank them if you would, 1 through 4, which teams are built for a national championship? You can start at the bottom and work your way to the top, or you can start at the top and work your way to the bottom. It doesn't matter.
As far as in the Big Ten and SEC, I would say the obvious answer is Purdue. They are the team that's built to win a championship.
Okay.
They are a 1 seed. They have been in the top 3 for the entirety of the season.
They were a 1 seed last year. They got key players coming back from last year's team. Plus, they got some additions to this year's team. So they're more built than Illinois, Tennessee, or Alabama to win a national championship.
Yeah, I would secondly take Illinois just because I think that they're incredibly balanced. They have an incredible backcourt, a dynamic scoring guard, and a versatile do-it-all 6'6" point guard. And they have their inside presence can also step outside and shoot the 3. I think they're incredibly well balanced, and Illinois is going to have the fastest player on the court every time they play the game, and
who is that going to be?
Terrence Shannon Jr. And I just think that guard play normally does win championships in the tournament.
Terrence Shannon Jr. was almost at a different team, wasn't he?
Could not get accepted to the University of Michigan, but neither could Caleb Love, and they're both still in the tournament. They're still dancing.
DeJuan Howard might still be coaching if he had those 2 players. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, he should have absolutely made the tournament the year prior. That Terrence Shannon got accepted, so.
Okay. So we got your 1 and 2 team built for a national championship. Who would be third? Between Tennessee and Alabama.
Yeah, that would be Tennessee. I would say Tennessee has Rick Barnes, who's been to a Final Four. They have Zakai Ziegler. They have Dalton Connect, the SEC Player of the Year. I think that they have a lot of ability as well, but I don't think they have like an overwhelming presence the way that Purdue does with Zach Edey, and I don't know if they have the balance that Illinois has. So that's why Tennessee is third, and Alabama is is fourth. I mean, if you've been watching them this year, the past couple of months, you can see that,
Yeah.
they've been in the free fall for a little bit. But the tournament is the second season. They call it that for a reason. I thought Michigan State was going to be the team that was going to be able to flip a switch and turn it on, and it looks like that was not correct. But it was Alabama. I would not be surprised at all if they beat North Carolina.
Okay, JJ, the potential for an SEC Big Ten matchup would come in the Elite Eight if it happened. Purdue and Tennessee, if they both win Friday, they would play Sunday. Purdue's already beaten Tennessee once this year.
Yep.
Would they do it twice?
In
the Elite Eight in Detroit.
Depends on the officiating crew that they get, but yeah, they absolutely would be favored.
Okay. And the only other way that a Big Ten SEC could match up on the left side of the bracket is Illinois make it to the Final Four and Alabama both make it to the Final Four. Who got the easiest route to the Final Four, Jay, among the Big Ten teams?
Purdue.
Okay, and their toughest team would be potentially Tennessee, whom they've already beaten.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know.
How tough is Illinois' road to the Final Four?
They have to play at the defending champion, who's the favorite to win the championship. So I would say that's pretty tough.
So they would have to beat a 2 seed in Iowa State and then a 1 seed potentially in UConn just to make it to the Final Four.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is a pretty tough. What about Alabama? Their road to the Final Four.
It's not that tough, but they're not that good. So I kind of think it's tougher for them than it would be for Illinois or for Purdue or a team like that. But
they're playing the number 1 seed in North Carolina. North Carolina was the lowest ranked or the worst ranked of the number 1 seed. I don't know how good. North Carolina's a 1 seed. Arizona's a 2 seed. How good are those two teams?
not particularly good.
That's what I'm thinking as well. So who got an easier route to the Final Four? Would it be Tennessee or Alabama? Tennessee would have to play Purdue if they beat Creighton.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that it's equally easy for both of them, just because I think Tennessee's better than Alabama, so I think it'd be similar. I don't think Alabama's making it to a Final Four, or Tennessee, honestly.
Okay. Which game do you like the best out of the Sweet 16 games between the SEC and Big Ten teams?
I like the Illinois-Iowa State game.
That's my favorite as well. That's Thursday. Illinois. What's Illinois' biggest challenge in that game, JJ?
I don't really. I mean, Iowa State has the ability to play really poorly on offense and still attack on defense. That's how they were able to stay in the game against Washington State after Washington State got out to that big lead. So I mean, I guess it would be that, but I mean, I don't really.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, JJ. I guess I'm running out of questions to ask you, but I got one major question to ask you.
Okay.
Is it over? Is the Big Ten drought over this year? Will it be over this year?
No, Purdue still would have to play UConn, unfortunately, and no team is better equipped to play Purdue than UConn.
So the drought continues. The last time the Big Ten won a national championship in basketball, when?
It was 2000, but when's the last time they even made it to a championship game?
Been a while.
It was Michigan and Villanova in 2017, something like that.
You know, looking back, JJ, Big Ten won it all in football.
Mm-hmm.
They got a number 1 seed in basketball. They can shock the world.
I don't think Purdue winning the championship would shock the world. They're our 1 seed, but yeah, they could win the championship. Well, the tournament's random, so.
Well, given that the Big Ten hasn't won one in so long, 24 years, 25 years, that would be a shocker to me.
That would make one of us, but.
Anything else, JJ? Are we missing anything?
The other thing that I wanted to bring up was Michigan did hire their coaches, basketball coach, Dusty May, and from Florida Atlantic.
FAU.
And
FAU went to the Final Four last year.
Yeah, and then they didn't win the game in the tournament this year. But they're hoping that he's going to have a little bit more success than Juwan Howard, who did go to a Elite 8 his first year, and then the Sweet 16 his second year, and then kind of fizzled out from there. So hopefully Dusty May doesn't have a long track record, but I mean he does have experience, you know, being an assistant coach at Michigan, and they were able to get him over Louisville, so that was a pretty good feather in their cap. And then Vanderbilt also hired their coach.
They hired the guy from
James Madison.
James Madison, who won one game in the tournament this year.
Beat undefeated against the Big Ten, Michigan State and Wisconsin.
That's true. That's true. Who got the better coach? U of M, Vandy.
You know, time will tell on that one.
Okay.
But I think Dusty May is a good fit for University of Michigan.
Okay.
And I think they got a better coach than you could have hoped for, honestly.
Before we get here, JJ, one last question.
Yeah.
How's your bracket?
My bracket is 3 teams are still competitive. I'm doing okay.
Okay.
I'm doing okay. I got one Final Four team out. I had Michigan State over North Carolina, but how's your bracket?
We don't need to talk about my bracket. Hey, but let's come back, JJ, after the second week of it is all over, and we get just 4 teams standing after this weekend. You want to do that?
Let's do it.
Out of here.
All right.